So we're going to end the show by talking about the New York Mets. Then we'll get out of here. So, big news recently. You guys got Francisco Lindor, a really talented shortstop. He's one of the best young players in the game of baseball. He plays really good defense. He gives you really good at-bats. He can hit the ball over the seats, too, for a smaller guy. He can give you about 30 to 35 homers. He's done that. So what are your thoughts on Lindor and how he fits in the lineup?
Of all my three teams, it's not even close. I am most excited about the New York Mets. I think the New York Mets could compete for a World Series this year. They bring in Steve Cohen, who completely changed that organization. Steve Cohen's worth $14 billion. Baseball is a capitalistic sport. It's not a sport with a salary cap. He's worth more than the next three owners combined in all of baseball. The Mets now have a seat at the big boy table, and they're starting to show it. They signed Jeff McCann this offseason, a really good all-around catcher. Now you go out there, you get Francisco Lindor. On top of that, you bring in Carrasco in the same trade, who's a really good pitcher. He pitched to a 2.9 ERA last year. He's 34 years old, but he helps fill out the rest of this rotation, and I don't think the Mets are done yet. I'm hearing rumors that they're going after Chris Bryant. I'm hearing rumors that they're going after George Springer. I think the Mets and the Yankees are going to be fighting with each other all year. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. But as far as Lindor goes, great player. Guy's a two-time Gold Glover, 4 straight consecutive years at the shortstop position with over 30 home runs. He instantly brings credibility to this lineup, the lineup that already had a lot of talent. Pete Alonso had 53 home runs the year before, most ever by a rookie. Michael Conforto's coming off a great year in the shortened season due to the virus. You got Jeff McNeil's a great all-around hitter. I love Dom Smith. I love what the Mets are building right now. I am super excited for baseball to start. I think the Mets are the favorite in the National League East.
Let's talk about Pete Alonso really quickly. You talked about he hit 53 homers as a rookie. He kind of took a step back last year, but that's kind of expected, and obviously it was a shortened season. So, I think that with a full season, he could really put those balls over the seats. What were your thoughts on Alonso coming in,
I never thought Alonso would be that good. I remember when he was in the minor league system, people worried about the defense. Tom Smith was known as the better all-around first base prospect, but I thought Alonso, I thought he'd be a guy that get you 30 home runs. Didn't think he'd be a 50 home run guy. I think he's legit. The guy's legit. He's a power hitter. He's never going to be a guy that bats 300, but he's a power hitter. He's always going to hit you 35 to 40 home runs. And he's a force in the lineup. And then, of course, Jacob deGrom. I mean, my God. Jacob deGrom's the best pitcher in baseball. But I'm excited
I was going to ask you that. Is deGrom the best in baseball? Elaborate on that.
Oh, yeah. Jacob deGrom 3 years ago pitched to a 1.7 ERA, one of the greatest years in the history of baseball, not just for...
He had a losing record, but that doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter. That guy was dynamite. I think he was one game over. I could be wrong on that. I think he was 11-10. But regardless,
it was around 500, something like that.
Yeah, he was dynamite. The Mets just didn't give him any run support. But deGrom to me is the best pitcher of baseball. He's ultra consistent. You look at it. People bring up Cole on the Yankees. Guy had one deGrom-like year. Outside of that, he's never approached deGrom. deGrom his entire career has been consistent. He's always one of the top 5 pitchers in the sport. He's right there with Kershaw, when Kershaw was at his best. deGrom has become that dominant force, and I think he's still got a couple of great years left in him. So him at the top of that rotation. Hopefully we get Noah Syndergaard back this year. We bring back Marcus Stroman, who missed last year. People forget about that, the Long Island pitcher. And we'll see what we got at the back end of that rotation. Now you bring Carrasco, though. Carrasco's a really good pitcher. They're looking good, man. They're looking good. I could talk Mets for hours, but Pete Alonso's exciting, man. Pete Alonso's going to hit us at least 40 home runs this year.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how disappointed in the Robbie Cano signing are you? That tells it all.
I'm past it now. We got rid of Brody Von Wagenen, the GM that made the trade. Cano's out for the year because he got popped for steroids. We saved $24 million because of it, so I was happy that happened. But the trade in itself, I mean, my God. Horrible. Edwin Diaz has not lived up near to what he was. Obviously, he was the prize in that deal, more so than Cano. Edwin Diaz has not really lived up to it. He was a little bit better last year. I still think he could be a good reliever this year, but Cano was just
he's past his prime. Can't play defense anymore.
Yeah, he goes on spurts. Like the first year, he was really good. The last month or two, he actually played well for the Mets at the plate last year, but. Yeah, it was a really bad trade. That trade is why we moved on. That's why we got a new GM. That trade was horrible. Horrible.
God. Unfortunately, Robbie Cano might not be getting many Hall of Fame votes because of the PEDs, unfortunately. Yeah, it is what it is, man.
He doesn't do that. He goes down as one of the greatest second basemen who ever played. And
no doubt.
Now he will not be in the Hall of Fame.
So the Mets obviously lost the World Series back in 2015, but it kind of seems like you guys have struggled to get back to that point, but now you're really excited, for the season this year. What do you think has been sort of the key to the Mets really getting back into that World Series mix? Obviously, they got to go out and produce on the field. I actually had you guys, doing some good things last year. My predictions, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head.
I did too.
Yeah, but why is this year different? And what have the Mets done since getting back to the World Series to give you a lot of hope to say, yeah, they're in the mix again?
The ownership. First and foremost, you start there. The Wilpons were horrible. Cohen's come in here. He's given this fan base a shot in the arm. Steve Cohen, people love him. Last year, I thought they had a really talented team. I think the virus, I think it took them a little time to get going, and people forget Syndergaard got hurt. Noah Syndergaard, the number 2 starter, got hurt before the year started, Tommy John surgery, and on top of that, Marcus Stroman sat out the season because of the virus. So we're missing our second and third starter. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I think the bats took a little time to get going. But you look at this lineup, man, right now, and you figure Syndergaard will be back at some point in time. I still think we're going to add Springer. So let's say we had George Springer. George Springer, one of the top 20 players in the sport, really good defensive center fielder. You're going to have Michael Conforto, George Springer, Brandon Nimmo in the outfield. Brandon Nimmo's a really good on-base guy. You're going to have Pete Alonso, Dom Smith switching at first base. Smith will play some DH. Smith was great last year for the Mets. Definitely started to show that bat. Jeff McNeil, really good hitter. Will either be playing second or third base. You're going to have J.D. Davis. Now you had the shortstop. You got an improvement at the catcher. We improved. If we get Springer, we're going to improve defensively at the 3 most important position. The catcher spot with McCann. Obviously, the shortstop, a huge improvement. Rosario was horrible defensively. And now Springer in the center field. I'm ecstatic. I can't wait for baseball season. I think the Mets are going to be dominant for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Love ownership. Love the direction of the New York Mets. I am much more optimistic about the Mets than the Giants or the Knicks.
Yep. Yankees fans might be sweating a little bit this year, you know what I'm saying?
Let's get it on, baby. Subway Series has been a long time since both teams were at the top of their game. I think you're going to see it this year.
No doubt. Well, Chris, man, going to let you go. You gave me a pretty good amount of your time. It was great having you on. And, yeah, great talking Mets, Knicks, and obviously your Giants, man. Obviously, I'm not a guy that roots for the Giants. I'm a Packers fan. But, I won't mind seeing Big Blue becoming a good team once again, We'll see how Daniel Jones performs this year. Not a big believer, but hey, we'll see, man. But, yeah, thank you for your time, Chris, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on, man. Anytime, man. Love what you do. Appreciate coming on. It was a great conversation. I'm a Packer fan in the playoffs. I'm pulling for Aaron Rodgers. So I hope you're happy at the end of the day. I hope the Packers get a Super Bowl. And, yeah, obviously, I hope the New York Giants get back to where they need to be, which is getting that 5th Super Bowl crown. But it's one year at a time. I like where we're headed. Definitely headed down the right path with Joe Judge. But I appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, before we get out of here, I promoted you a little bit earlier, but, tell people where they can find you, YouTube, you're on social media, you're on Twitter, Instagram. You want to plug in anything else?
Yeah, obviously YouTube channel, like you said, Entertainah Talking Sports. And on Twitter, I'm at Entertainah85. Don't know why I made that my handle. I wasn't really taking it seriously at the time, but I'm on Twitter a lot. I like to tweet. I've actually I really enjoy Twitter. So I never used it before the last 3 or 4 months now. I'm very active. I'm tweeting all the time. So you can definitely follow me there. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, just love talking sports. Love talking about my teams. Mainly the Giants, obviously. I would say 90% of my channel is Giants content, but I'm always open to talking anything New York sports or just general sports related. But yeah, come and follow me. Let's talk sports.
Yeah, no doubt. Chris, thank you for your time, man. Have a good day, man.
You too, man. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big-time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.